Hi, my name is John Alzheimer, and I'm a credit expert who contributes to creditcardinsider.com. And today's question is this: what is a cash advance credit line? A cash advance credit line is essentially it's a line of credit that is tied to your credit card account. So for those of you who have credit cards, you have what's referred to as a cash advance limit or a cash advance line that's associated with that card. Now, keep in mind that this is not the same as the credit limit on the card. So for example, if you have a credit card with a $20,000 credit limit, it does not mean that you can go and get $20,000 of cash out of the bank and tie it back to the card. It doesn't work that way. The cash advance line is generally much smaller than the credit limit. So you'll be able to spend more money swiping the card than you will be able to get out of the card in the form of cash. Now, for those of you who get credit card statements in the mail still, you'll probably recognize this relative to your peers that only get statements online. For those of you who still get statements in the mail, probably have seen what's referred to as a convenience check. And a convenience check is essentially a stack of checks that they'll send to you with perforated edges, and they'll usually stick those into your statements and then mail them to you. Those convenience checks can be written to yourself, they can be written to other credit card issuers to pay off other debt, they can be written to other companies to pay for purchases, and essentially what you're doing is you're taking out a cash line against your credit card. You can also take out a cash line against your credit card at an ATM machine. You have been issued a PIN, whether you know it or not. You actually have a PIN, a personal identification number, associated with your credit card. And if you were to go to any of the thousands of ATMs across the country or across the world and stick your card in there and enter your PIN, you can take cash out. That is the same as taking a cash advance. So there's a couple of things to keep in mind when you're taking a cash advance relative to the purchases you make by swiping your card. Cash advances generally begin to accrue interest immediately. So the day you take out the advance is the day that the interest is going to start accruing and the clock starts ticking. This is different because relative to swiping, interest does not accrue unless you A, carry a balance from one month to the next, or B, pay it in full but don't pay it in full by the due date. So you've got a pretty considerable grace period between the time when you actually make your purchase to the time interest begins to accrue when you're swiping the card or using it really the way that it's supposed to be used. Taking out a cash advance, you don't enjoy that type of grace period, and you're going to start paying interest immediately. And second, and this is something that's also very important that most consumers don't know, is that taking out a cash advance against a credit card indicates to the credit card issuer that you are a risky borrower. Generally, people take out cash advances against credit cards not for convenience, but because they're having difficulty in their financial lives and they need some form of money in order to make ends meet or to use as a stopgap for until your next paycheck. And so when you're taking out cash advances, you're basically telling the credit card issuer that you're in some form of financial distress or trouble. And it's not uncommon, and it's certainly not illegal, but there is a chance that by taking out cash advances that the credit card issuer can either close your account or they can increase the interest rate across the board, even for swipe purchases. So keep that in mind before you start taking out cash advances. There are better ways to get cash in your wallet, either by going and writing a check at your bank or taking it out of an ATM using a normal debit card or ATM card, or when you're depositing a check at a bank, you can get cash back. These are low-risk forms of getting cash in your wallet relative to the cash advance on a credit line. But it's there for emergency purposes. So if you needed quick cash and you don't have the time to do one of those other things, then you can go ahead and take it out at an ATM. But just be aware that you're going to start paying interest immediately. So if you don't want to do that, you're going to have to go online the next day and actually make a payment on the cash advance line, not on the swipe balance. You have two different balances now. You have the swipe balance and the cash advance balance. You're going to want to make a payment on the cash advance balance, so you go ahead and stop the clock of interest ticking because it can become very expensive, and it's generally higher than the interest that you're paying on the purchases you make by swiping your card. I would give the cash advance a thumbs down, to be quite honest with you. If you have any other questions pertaining to credit or financial topics, please submit them to creditcardinsider.com. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.